Apparently I like pain, which brings us here to the Battle of Seelow Heights mod once again. Probably the hardest mod for Hearts of Iron since Endsieg, and I dare to say it's even better than Endsieg. So we've already tried April 12th and won, but I did turn off the negative modifiers, I admit. I haven't touched April 27th because I am convinced it's not possible. If someone of you can show me that it can in fact be done, I'm more than willing to give it a go, but I'm not convinced. However, they have now just released March 6th. 1945. Now, all of these dates are very close together, but the situation is so much different. So, how can we do this? March 6th, 1944, Operation Spring Awakening, the final offensive of the German Reich of World War II.
I can't see what's happening. Are we boned?
Yeah, we're boned.
The Allies are not quite at the Rhine yet in all parts, but they are occupying parts of Germany, small parts of Germany, and we'll like to keep it that way and eventually push them back. Italy's, well, I don't know if they can be any worse off, but they're still there. And then the East is where the real mess is. Let's see just how bad this is. So we've got a bunch of pockets spread out across the French coast. These are Festung divisions. Essentially, these were remnants of the Atlantic Wall that were deemed too costly to overrun, so they just encircled them and left them to starve until they surrendered. That's what happened. That's also what we're gonna do. While these units are here, they're distracting a lot of Frenchmen. Same with the unit in Dunkirk. They will all eventually die, but until then, they're a nice distraction. Then we have little Netherlands left there. We still hold Rhineland. We still hold most of our land. What I'm thinking is we don't look at the tactical situation yet. I'll do the front lines off camera because it's a whole bunch of work, but you'll see what happens. Let's look at the country overview. So nothing fancy here. Not all is yet lost. Pretty good. This offsets some of the really horrible modifiers, but only for a month. Now we get to the real big ones. The Shattered Wehrmacht. Yeah, the army's not really doing very well, as you can see. Endsieg, that is helpful. Totalen Krieg, also helpful with a little bit of a caveat maybe. Volkssturm, fine, I guess. Allied bombing rates. Now, this is actually huge. This decimates our industry, and the only way we're going to be able to keep the army afloat is by minimizing the number of production lines we do have and by stealing most of our equipment. So that's going to be a big part of our strategy. Theft. There is good news. I can get rid of mass disloyalty, Allied bombing raids, and the Shattered Wehrmacht. The Allied bombing raids are the most straightforward. They will be removed when surrender progress is below 1%. Essentially, I gotta push the Allies out, gotta push the Soviets out of Germany proper, and the bombing thing should go away. And then the mass disloyalty and Shattered Wehrmacht, we need to do missions from the Oberkommando des Heeres. It's basically timed missions that tell you hold on to this specific province or these victory points until that date, so it ticks down, like hold Holland for 60 days, which we can do. And if we succeed, the Shattered Wehrmacht is improved, we get more stability, we get more war support, it also fixes mass disloyalty slightly. So as the game progresses, we get a series of these missions, and if we survive until the last mission, mass disloyalty will be gone, and Shattered Wehrmacht will actually be converted into a positive rebuilt Wehrmacht that has positive modifiers. Now, let's look at the rest of this. So, Königsberg Pocket, not great, and then the Courland Pocket, not great. So, I want to get the Courland Pocket out. We'll try and build a port up there. Same for the Königsberg Pocket. I also want to get them out. If I can succeed, that's another matter. Not entirely sure. These, I'm skeptical that we'll be able to get them out because they will almost constantly be in combat, and as a result, building will not actually take place. But if they can last long enough for me to do counterattack of sorts, wonderful. Other construction is going to be forts. I know, a bit contentious maybe, but I do not intend to give up any land to the Allies because I want to get rid of the Allied bombing negative modifier. And if I give up parts of Germany, I have to reconquer them. And while sitting on the Rhine is very beneficial for me, the Rhine is going to get in my way when I want to counterattack. Like if I want to take back the Rhineland or Moselland, that Rhine River is going to be one hell of an obstacle for me. So if I can somehow manage to hold this line long enough to reinforce it, probably through using a whole bunch of cheese, all the better for me. We have to hold Italy for a mission, so I'll hold this until the mission's done, I think. Then I might retreat, depending on how the situation has evolved. What I want to do is give up this. Everything between Stettin and Danzig, I want to give up. Get these troops out. It's just a massive liability right now. And I want to dig in along this river, hold this position, try and push them back to the river once I've got my spearhead organized. I'm definitely definitely giving up Hungary. Focus is first. I want to build construction engineering. I want to get those forts and I want to get those ports. After that, it's just going to be a matter of spamming synthetic refineries so I have oil for what little tanks I still have. When those are built, military factories, and maybe some radar. I'm going to get Bormann for extra political power gain. You might be thinking, but it's like 1945. What are you going to spend the political power on? These things. War propaganda, extort heroism, radio propaganda. That is all good. I want all of these. I'm constantly going to be spamming frugality, bolster spirit, expert heroism just to keep my war support up. I'm going to grab political loyalty, make our leaders cheaper, but that's not the big deal. It gives us a lot more stability from our party popularity. Let's also grab quick improv and then the spirit of division command, static warfare. As for the Navy, submarine primacy, night fighting, and convoy warfare, could go with aircrew surveys. Yeah, less air accidents and cheaper doctrine. We'll fill out the doctrine next, so air superiority, ground support, yada 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 yada. Right, that's the air doctrine done. And we still have 50/4 centralized control. You always want this one. Makes your fighters a little bit better, but it makes every single one of your air missions 10% more efficient. That's just a no-brainer. And then we still have special forces. If we have army experience left over, probably gonna go big on mountaineers. Get a couple of specialist mountaineers maybe to hold the Alps or even push back through Italy. But that's very much in the future if we last that long. Production guns, obviously. Maybe even more guns. And we're going to use all these MIOs. Artillery, sure. Anti-tank. Now, usually I get rid of anti-tank, but I just want to see what it does because I see a lot of armor. We might unironically actually use some anti-tank this game purely as a support company, so we don't have to make all that much of it, but some anti-tank might be nice. And if it turns out that it's a waste, so be it. We can always get rid of it and maybe sell it to someone. Advanced anti-air. We're going to go big on anti-air. We'll need a lot of it to equip our armies. Support equipment, yes. Trucks, yes. Mechanized equipment, yes. Improved small airframe, no. Schwalbe, modern small airframe, yes, but not this design. So I'm gonna fill this thing with heavy machine guns. 3 heavy machine guns and I'll remove the last one. It's simply a weight issue. Get it down to a single jet engine fighter. We'll add, I want to add self-sealing fuel tanks, but I don't think I can afford the rubber cost. So we'll leave off the self-sealing fuel tanks until we've built more refineries. So for now, I'll leave that off, but I'll add some drop tanks. I will mass produce these. I'll not be making casts. I'll not be making any medium airframes, no heavy airframes, no transports, nothing else. Anything that flies for now is just going to be the ME-262. We got a couple of subs in production, which is a good idea. I will be going big on subs. It's probably going to be the only thing I reliably build in terms of a navy, but not these cheap subs. I'll build also cheap but slightly better subs. So sub 3s, fill them with torpedo tubes and a schnorkel. Best engine I can fit, raiding fleet, and we'll mass produce these. Well, mass production is a relative term here, but you know what I mean. Now, I like boats. You like boats. I know you do. Admit it. And that's a beautiful coincidence because today's sponsor, World of Warships, does too. Alright folks, gather around because I am about to tell you about this absolutely massive game, World of Warships. And we're talking about big, beautiful boats, folks. And the best part, you unlock new ships as you go, getting ready to totally dominate the seas. It's going to be huge. Now, let me tell you, the details in this game, unbelievable. You've got weather effects that change how you play the game. It's like you're actually there, middle of the ocean, battling it out. And these boats, hyper accurate. We're talking about a level of detail that's just tremendous. But it doesn't stop there. There's always something new happening. New missions, game updates, events every week to keep you and your buddies engaged for hours. It's like the game never sleeps, always something exciting around the corner. But let's not forget a community. It's large, it's active, and it brings together people of all kinds. Join clans, compete, chat on Discord, discuss on forums. It's a beautiful thing, really. And since launch, over 500 ships from 10 different nations have been added. Think about that. The weather effects, armor viewer modes, all enhancing the realism. And with millions of players, you're joining a winning team here. The dedication. It takes the team 6 months to craft a ship from scratch, folks. That's commitment. And with a new cycle of content, every 4 weeks, there's always something fresh. And from destroyers to aircraft carriers, every boat offers a unique experience. And commanders, you got legendary figures and even your favorite fictional ones to choose from. With over 40 maps and 20 ports based on historical places, plus a variety of battle types, this game has everything. PvP, PvE, You name it. So what are you waiting for? Get into World of Warships and start commanding your fleet. Let's make the seas great again. Link down below. Two things are conspicuously absent from this production queue. One of them being tanks. Oh, also trains. So let's add some trains to the mix. I'm going to need them. And then tanks. So I'm going to go with medium tanks. That's a given. I will streamline all of my tank designs to just use mediums. And I'm thinking advanced mediums or improved mediums. Let's go with advanced mediums. Turret's good. Gun is good. Radio's fine. We'll make some adjustments. I'm not going to use cast armor. This is ridiculously expensive. Let's go with riveted. Way cheaper. Cost is almost half. I'm going to replace the smoke launchers with easy maintenance. That makes them even cheaper. And they still got a ton of reliability. Let's add the Daimler-Benz production company. We'll make them cheap. We'll make them a little faster, and they're still way cheaper than the original design was. Stats are still good. This thing will do fine. Research. What I first want to research is things that keep me alive. Infantry equipment, armored trains, because my trains are going to explode without an air force. I'm thinking cannons too. They are really good in the air. And then the last slot's this one. Advanced oil processing, or maybe modern rubber processing. No, advanced oil processing. I need all of my fuel, and I'm going to need a lot of it. It's all going to have to come from refineries, so the more of it I have, the better. In preparation of the future, these will be my hunting packs, so I'll automatically split off, automatically reinforce, and I want them all up to size 10, and every time one of them hits size 10, I'll just get another stack of them. And the idea is to eventually have 100 submarines, 10 units of 10 subs, out hunting in any place of the ocean that is not a shallow sea. So this is a shallow sea. Never put subs in a shallow sea. They will get found, they will get sunk, but other places like the Gulf of Finland, fjords and archipelagos, wonderful for a submarine. Nobody's gonna find them, and they're gonna be able to wreck stuff, or just oceans, deep oceans, that kind of stuff. Subs will do wonders in those areas. That's where you want them. That's where they can do the most damage. Okay, that is production sorted out. So MIOs, I'm gonna go over the ones I'll be using. Daimler-Benz, like I said, this one is big in terms of production efficiency. This will allow you to make a lot of really cheap tanks. So this more efficiency cap and gain, that's a no-brainer. More reliability is nice. More speed and defense is nice. This pretty much just offsets the negatives that the initial designer gives you, and now you start building back up. More efficiency gain, fewer resources required, that's a no-brainer, and we'll slowly work our way down to the down thing here, like more production output, that sort of stuff. Blom and Voss, this is for my subs, anything that reduces visibility and boosts subs, really. And then Messerschmitt, I'd like to build as many of them as I can, and after I have all the production bonuses grabbed up, I should go for stuff like speed and agility so they can outperform enemy fighters. For Rheinmetall, whatever gets me more guns. They don't have to be way better, I just need a lot of them. Same for Mauser, really. Whatever gets me more guns. Having better guns is just a nice to have bonus. We'll make cheaper trucks using Opel, we'll make cheaper mech, and then we'll just boost both. Perfect. And the other design companies I'll ignore because I will not be using them. I will be using 2 templates. Well, 3 in future, maybe 4 even. This one is the basic infantry. It's shit, so we'll need to change it. No anti-tank in the line, no artillery in the line. We'll remove these 2 infantry as well. Just a block of 18 width, a block of meat. I don't want cavalry recon. It's fancy, and I can't afford fancy. Field hospitals, very fancy. I can't afford fancy. Signal companies, I can't afford fancy. We'll get engineers for the entrenchment and defense. We are going to pick up support artillery because you always add support artillery. They are just that good. And then finally, I'm going to add maintenance companies. These will allow me to steal some enemy equipment. Once we get a stockpile going, I'm also going to add support anti-air because obviously you want support anti-air. Anything else? Currently, I can't afford. This is what we're going to be going with right now. Maintenance, support artillery, engineers, and 3 rows of 3 infantry. That will be the basic infantry, the front line holder. And with that, we'll also use a whole lot less equipment. One thing I do want to add, I don't usually do this, support anti-tank. We'll add this to see how our stockpiles hold up. But if it doesn't work out, we can always remove it. But I want to just, weather that initial push of tanks. The enemy is going to run out of tanks relatively quickly, and I want to be able to blow them up quickly. We got a couple of mountaineers here. I'm going to remove the anti-tank. That brings them up to 25 width. perfect width. Later on, once we get the stockpile for it and the industry survives, we'll change the ratio of mountaineers to artillery to give them a little bit more bite, but this is good. I'll leave everything as is for now, except for the signal companies. We'll replace those with maintenance. All right, mountaineers, good. We'll make them elite. Panzer Grenadiers. So these are stupidly expensive. Remove the medium tanks. Going to remove signal companies, field hospitals, and support anti-tank. These guys are probably not going to need it. Remove the motorized AA. Remove the motorized anti-tank, and I'll leave the motorized artillery and then remove one. All right, make this 21 with decent. 1 motorized artillery and then 9 mech. We'll add motorized recon, we'll add engineers, and maybe maintenance companies. And then finally the SS Panzer Division. We'll hold on to these as well, but not this design. This is trash. So we'll remove the medium tank destroyer, we'll remove the artillery. And these 2 heavy tanks are going to be changed into medium tanks, and then we'll fill out this whole thing with medium tanks. That brings me up to 28. Then add another mech, 30 with medium tanks. These are good. These will work. This will be fine. I don't want signal companies. I can hold on to field hospitals for now. We'll see how that goes. Motorized recon is worthless, and we'll replace it with logistics. And then I'll add maintenance companies, I think. Unpause, and everything's going to be awful. So all of these units, I'm manually going to be redeploying away from the front lines as quickly and efficiently as humanly possible. You have about 24 hours before the AI wakes up and does things, so if I can get things done before then. So these guys I'm using to break through. I'm going to do 1 force attack. It might be the dumbest thing I've do, but this might allow me to break out 2 divisions. Yeah, now the AI's woken up. You can see they're suddenly attacking. They're going to try to mop up these Festungs first, and then they'll concentrate on the front. Soviets immediately start attacking. So be it. With a little luck, I can still bust the Festung Division out. It's gonna cost me though. Untangle the encirclement. Okay, it's encirclement untangled. Halt, 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 halt. And we're just gonna walk the units out of Breslau. It's pointless trying to hold the position, even though that would be the great idea. You could have such a good play. It's not good. It's not a good position to hold. I got everyone out of the Hinterpommern pocket by strategically redeploying them. These guys are holding out very nicely. They are not even being attacked, so that port's going to get built. The port in Königsberg, I don't think I'll ever get built. These 2 tiles will constantly be under attack. The units might survive for a significant amount of time, but I doubt I'll be able to get them out. I'm trying to gather up my armor here in Ostmark and Niederschlesien to push to this river line to weather the storm and then counterattack with actual armor. The armor is arriving, and I'm slowly going to be converting the units that arrive here into these SS Panzer Division. They're going to be awful because they'll have not enough equipment by far, and then I'll be consolidating them like this. So instead of having 2 units that are pretty much, or 3 units that are pretty much worthless, we'll convert them into a single unit that is almost combat effective. Consolidation is the best thing you can do. So keep converting and consolidating, and eventually we'll end up with units that might actually be able to put up a fight. I'm also holding on to Norway. I'm going to put a unit on every port and see what we can do. If we lose Norway, so be it. I'm also training up a couple of divisions of Luftwaffe Felddivision. Like, this is garbage. This is absolute trash tier garbage, I know, but I'm going to try to use them to guard the ports that I have. I don't want to get naval invaded, so there'll be tripwire forces. Constantly manually set units to strategic redeployment. The faster they get to where they're going, the faster they can also start getting entrenchment, and entrenchment is vital if I'm going to survive this. But pretty pleased that I managed to bust these guys out of Breslau though. I didn't think I was going to make it, but that is 2 extra divisions that won't die. I almost forgot. I'm going to build up a cryptology network here using my agency, decrypt the Soviet cipher. Soviets are going to be the main threat here. I can hold the Western Front because most of the time the Allied AI is relatively passive. They do like big pushes, and then they have like nothing in them for 6 months. Let's look at the green bubbles. Green bubbles. And no attack on the Western Front yet. That means all of these units are gathering their entrenchment. They're getting stronger as they go. I've got Model on there with 30% extra entrenchment. As for the Eastern Front, same deal here. I've picked von Rundstedt for the extra entrenchment. Just hold until relieved. Things look a little critical in some places, but I think we should be okay. And in some places, I am going to have to turn on the big supply button without... I'm not going to do it for the general. So I could do this and just motorize the entire field marshal, but I think that would expose me too much to Allied bombing. If I just concentrate some supply hubs to be motorized, I might be better off. Now we make sure we can do the mission. So Operation Hannibal, 18 days. Festung Holland, 48 days. Vienna offensives. We need to control Lower Austria. And look at that. It's all going to be improving Shattered Wehrmacht and Mass Disloyalty. So we'll get rid of these in a month, a couple of weeks, and then we'll actually be in a really good position. And now we hold. This is pretty much what I'm going to be doing at speed 1 or 2, maybe 3 when I get a little bit more confident, but it's just going to be funneling units around. Drive there, you go there, hold position, you, another last stand meme. So this is what I'm going to be doing. It's going to cost me equipment, but I should also be stealing quite a bit of equipment from the Eastern Front. Soviets, I'm starting to steal some equipment. We'll see how this goes. It's going to be in a very slow speed, and it's going to take me many hours in real life, so prepare for a lot of cuts in the video. Fortunately, I can also trade with Sweden. Sweden still likes me well enough. I might even improve relations with them a little bit. You know, maybe they won't embargo me just yet. And I can always try the German-Swedish trade agreement, see if they'll play ball. We've also finished a couple of these missions, so Hannibal and Vienna offensive are done. Next, Operation Grapeshot, which is hold on to Italy. So far, so good. And defend Munich. The enemy is nowhere near Munich, so I think we'll manage that. And as a result, so Shattered Wehrmacht is a lot less awful. It's still awful, but a lot less so. And Mass Disloyalty is also slowly going away, but we are going to lose All Is Not Yet Lost in about 5 days. And this one was pretty big on offsetting the awfulness that is already going on, so we'll see how this goes. Either the Soviets have just run out of steam, which is not entirely unlikely considering how hard they've been pushing themselves, or they're lulling me into a false sense of security. So as well, allies down here, they're attacking, sure, but not the massed human waves offensives that I would anticipate. This keeps being a recurring issue of sorts. So the north holds, the south holds. Actually, the south holds so well that I'm constantly repositioning forces from the south towards the center. I'm thinking we're gonna hold relatively well. Equipment wise, we could be better off though. And we're running out of fuel at an alarming rate. I need to consolidate a couple more of these tanks. I think at the end of this we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 combat effective tank divisions, which is all right. The mech is also still doing very well at being a nice big pile of metal that gets in the way, but they're also going to run out of fuel soon, and I will be converting these into basic infantry and then distributing them to the main front lines. And the only thing that I have that has some sort of armor capacity for a little bit is going to be my SS Panzer Division. I've got the first batch of these guys out, so Luftwaffe Felddivision has been deployed. I have another set of them inbound, but I am woefully short on infantry equipment to make sure those can actually be deployed sometime soon. Yeah, I've been forced to fall back. This was untenable. I couldn't hold the line, so I pulled back to the most defensible part of Italy that was left, anything behind that major river. Fortunately, that includes Lombardia, which I need to defend for Operation Grapeshot. We'll be fine. And I've peeled some units off this to reinforce the main front, but it is looking super solid. It has cost me though. I'm up to 230,000 casualties, but I've almost killed 1 million Soviets, so I'd say we are still up overall. Air war, not so much, except for Czechoslovakia. They're not barely contesting me here. Great, I guess. Let's focus on this. Let's focus on this. Come on, make that tank go away. Make that tank go away. Go. It's happening. There is a happening. I pinned that tank. Yes. And now from Memel, if I can get them to stop attacking me for a minute. Oh yeah, they have a fairly giant pile of units in Memel itself, so not sure we'll actually... Okay, now we'll hold here, and I'll try to build up for a push on Memel from all sides. See if we can do something with that, because if we could, I could get these guys out, and I can extract all of these guys. I don't have to build that port anymore. I know, bit of a waste, because I now have the port of Palanga. As long as the rest of the front holds. I said hold. Okay, they've already won the combat there, so I'm just gonna pin these guys in position and attack. It's fine. Ooh, I got memed out of another tile. That's not good. You go there. Oh, God, this is intense. But now I guess we're in the defensive area of Bohemia. All right, so I had an idea. Like, the AIs stopped doing anything up there for some reason. I don't know why, but when I punched through to Königsberg, they ungarrisoned that entire front, and I figured, all right, this is a time to push out, establish an additional front with Soviets, draw their focus away from our front line. Then again, the front line is okay-ish. I'm taking a lot of damage here. I'm seriously taking losses, and it hurts, and my equipment hasn't really gone up much, but it's manageable. It's frying my brain. But the Western Front, though, I can salvage this. I still have some shuffling around that I can do, and some last stands I can pull to buy me the time I need. But the Allies are certainly getting more and more and more aggressive, and I'm gonna need the extra forces there. I've already had to give up Bitburg, which I wasn't planning to, so I may need to retake that. These guys are gonna be needed elsewhere, so I'm gonna pull them out and reinforce both Western and Eastern fronts with them. Italy is gonna be abandoned in another 4 days, and then I'll just sit on that tile, and these tiles here make that shorter line. Yeah, but I'm happy, and what I'm mostly happy about is I just need to hold on for 4 more days in Italy, and I'm gonna pack up and leave. I'm pulling as many units as I can to this Alpine position here in Tyrol. Then I'm gonna shorten this line here to just these 2 tiles in Klagenfurt, and that's it. Operation Grapeshot, it has completed, and we now have the Wehrmacht instead of the shattered Wehrmacht. This means our armies are functional, and we no longer have traitors among us as well, so it's just allied bombing I have to contend with, and we'll see just how well we can deal with that. And I think the majority of the first army has made its escape good. So now I just need to get these guys out as well. Should be reasonably straightforward. As long as nobody does anything stupid, we should make it to the ports. There goes the Italian Social Republic. So all German forces in Italian-controlled territories have surrendered. Fortunately, I got my guys out. So these guys are fortunately saved. I didn't actually lose the entire army. But if Italy falls and you have like even 20 divisions here, that's it. They're gone. And that significantly shortens the front line here. And I'm not seeing any red bubbles immediately, so I think we're about as solid as this place is gonna get. All right, so losses here have been relatively minimal. Most of the army has made it across, so Festung Kommando can be distributed along the eastern front. So we'll start a second Field Marshal order from Stettin down there-ish. We'll be able to make sure that the front lines can be split eventually. We've also finished all the missions. As a result, we have decent stability, decent war support, and actually a decent army. That Wehrmacht bonus is very nice, yeah. It's gonna allow us to survive. Let's try to push this tile. It looks like we'll make it, so follow up with the infantry as well. And immediately move in. Go, 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 go. It's gonna cost me fuel, but it is a cost worth paying if it shortens my front. There we go, 1 tile taken. I'll try to take this one next, then this one, then this one, just to inch our way forward. And then every now and then I have to go look at the actual main front to see, am I losing anywhere? Because it can all go south so quickly. All right, that is 2 tiles reclaimed. Let's see if we can get a 3rd one in before we run out of our fuel. Yeah, because like I said, the Soviets have been attacking constantly, well, so have the Allies, but as a result, you know, they are shot to pieces. Their stuff is weak. They're really not fit to hold a line once I'm able to find a gap to counterattack, so it does give me the opportunity to do stuff like this. What I do need to be able to do, though, is get infantry in behind as quickly as possible to make use of that new front line along the river. Okay, so Breslau itself is in our sights, but I doubt we'll be able to take it. Let's see if I attack it. No, that's not happening. So let's take the armor off and set it here so we can take that little bulge out of my line, shorten the line when we can take the next position. All right, let's make it another push on the river. I can take this tile, then we have Breslau open, open to attack from 4 or 5 sides even. My forlorn hope here is actually panning out reasonably well, and they can make the attack on Breslau proper next. How you guys doing? Seen better days, but reinforcements are en route. I can go down to all adult serve though, so hopefully that doesn't cost me it's gonna cost me a little manpower though. 25%, not much. It's gonna cost me a little manpower, but not too much. Yeah, we're just not capable of big sweeping movements. I think the AI in this mod is slightly smarter than usual. it does have somewhat deeper defenses in that there's something behind the front as well as in like directly where I am. So even if I manage to push through, they have something ready in reserve to respond to whatever I do. I am afraid I won't be able to do much more than chip away at them every now and again. So close. I think that's a naval invasion. Oh, that's a big one. I'm just doing so well. I've actually got a bit of air superior. Okay. We're grounding the air. We'll try again later. Armor, halt all offensives. Halt all offensives. Head back there. We are in a existential crisis now. That's a major UK naval invasion. Halt all these infantry offensives, and we'll redeploy the armor. Armor should be able to throw this back into the sea. I'm not that concerned. If I can get my armored units in there quickly enough, I can kill off a lot of that garbo. It's just a couple of infantry units, and I can repel the invasion. Some good news, at least. I did finally manage to dig Breslau. Got a nice injection of recruitable population, not to mention industry. Well, not that much industry, mostly pop. And we have a good solid front line sitting here. It cost me. It certainly cost me. And now I can start recruiting actual additional divisions. We'll see how many I can actually deploy. I've spammed out the port guards that were pretty much done already, and they can go wherever. I'll probably need to properly distribute them, because otherwise they're all going to go to the same place, which would honestly be quite stupid. As long as I can put like 2 on each tile, they should be able to buy me enough time to redirect my tanks whenever something threatens my coast. Honestly, we might actually be able to forge ahead with what we have here, even if it's a river. Yeah, we've reinforced memed them out of the tile. That means we've taken Oppeln, and from Oppeln I can then strike into Gleiwitz. It's going to be precarious because the enemy is going to continuously funnel fresh troops in, so I may need to hold a little bit until a new opportunity arises. But from here, I can then take Gleiwitz and take Oberschlesien back. I'm also back down to like a little less capitulated. I've determined the only way forward for Germany is to go through the west. The east is about as clogged as it's ever going to be. I'm not going anywhere there, so the chances of me breaking through are slim to none. If anything happens, it will have to happen here, so I'll try to edge my way forward. Just one step at a time. One grueling step after another, making... looks like we've got some gains here. There we go. It's begun. The nuclear bombing. Fortunately, I don't know why, but every time the Allies start nuking me, it happens in Holland. What if I go around Brussels? Maybe pressure on Leuven, more into Brussels. You go there. Oh my... every time I get vision behind their fronts, it's like, where are they pulling these units from? There's more. There's always more. Well, how about that? The infantry prevails with the armor fails. Taking Brussels with an infantry push. Well, that does mean it has a supply connection. As soon as the supply connection comes online, I'll bring the tanks in for the final push. Punch on through. And... it's done. Okay, that is done. That is an encirclement complete of Flanders, or North Flanders, as well as Southern Holland. Great. That's actually really big. Now let's start deepening the cracks. Assault. This is going to cost me tanks. I don't care. Clean it up. Don't let them out. They cannot escape. They cannot be allowed to escape. Punch into Rotterdam. Assault the positions. Clean this up. Yes. I got him. Another small encirclement. Keep driving. Keep driving. Get to Paris. Because of course we have to get to Paris. It's symbolic. September 1947. We've blitzkrieg into Paris. Vindication. We've made our drive there. That's somewhat stalled. Let's get the armor out, the infantry in, and then try push from the north down there to cut off that unsightly bulge we've created. All right, it's happening again. Almost there. And another pocket. I'm constantly using the armor to clean it up, even though that is a little bit slower, but at least I won't take as many casualties doing it. And then I think we can make a push through here towards the French border, the Swiss border, and cut off another section of their main line. I'm in my element. I'm vibing even. All right, we'll make it. We'll make it. We'll make it. It looks like we'll make it to the Swiss border. Swiss border achieved. Keep carving, keep carving, keep carving. I want to destroy as much of the enemy forces here without having to fight them. Just keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Push along the railways. Dig deep. Go far. Be better. All that good jazz. Infantry redeploys along with the tanks and pocket. All that suffering, and it just took one chink in the allied armor for all of it to come crashing down. Right, now the pocket. It's gonna be slow and methodical from now on, but we're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it. Okay, so that is a nice cut there. Now to roll up this part of France. As far as France is concerned, now it's just a cleanup operation. They've effectively lost the war twice. By this point, it's just me cleaning this up now. There we go. Triumphant France. You know what? There we go. Vichy France. I'll give you Vichy France. I don't want it anymore. Oh, this is going remarkably well all of a sudden. France gone. Italy virtually undefended, so I'm steamrolling down there as well. The Maginot secured. Yeah, Western Front closed, I'd say. Get more divisions out to guard my ports, and we can talk. I'm gonna streamline this a little bit, because I have no desire to constantly micro this anymore. Holy cow, I think we have what has to be the most decisive battle of the entire naval scene. I think we've been weak and vulnerable long enough. It's time we strike out. I'm gonna go for an infantry offensive in the south. The Soviet lines are really thin down there, so I don't really fear overextension all that much. And the armor is gonna try and liberate Kustrin and create a corridor towards Danzig. Might be able to just punch clean on through. Probably not something I should count on. Alright, so it looks like the Soviets are actually a lot weaker than I had initially thought them to be. Alright, that is full encirclement achieved. The Green Army can man the encirclement, Red Army to the exterior front, and the tanks will clean up. Oh my god, this is massive. I don't know if you understand just how massive this is. This is probably the death blow for the Soviets. I don't think they can come back. Well, I'm pretty sure they can't come back from this. Not after the massive casualties they've been sustaining. Ooh, I can invite Chiang Kai-shek to my faction. Welcome aboard, sir. All of the Chinese miners are willing to join hands. This is where we break them. Oh, all my friends coming back to the fold. They must be so exhausted. 20 million casualties. And they still have millions of men in reserve. Stop killing your men. Just give up. Admit that it is pointless and give up. I'm willing to sign a favorable peace deal. So yeah, this is pretty much the end of the Soviet Union. The annoying thing is, though, it's gonna take forever to capitulate them, even with all my spies in the area. I could probably launch a collaboration government. At least one would be good. Oh, their line's so thin. I'm just railroading or just driving my tanks through. There's nothing they have left. It's just gonna be a matter of actually finishing the capitulation, which is usually the most annoying part when fighting the Soviets anyway. Numbers wise, 140 divisions. I have twice their number on the Eastern Front alone, so I will overrun them, no sweat. It's done far longer than I would have liked. That's it. Peace deal. I'm gonna clean up our borders as much as humanly possible, and then we're gonna naval invade the UK. If we can pull that off, then I can call this a victory, because I am under no circumstances invading the USA. I think we're ready. I've got one army of Marines, so that template I designed way back in the before times, they should be able to punch through. Yes, there's still a little green around the gills. Could exercise them, but I'm running slightly low on equipment. I just want to get this over with. I'm not expecting massive opposition. Oh, speaking of, I should probably have put my spies up here, but we're pretty much ready to go, and I'm going to drown the southern coast. Oh, there goes another fleet. Oh, they're just gone. So I'm ready to drown the southern coast of the UK in Marines. I'll follow up with tanks. I've got my Air Force up, and now that the numbers mismatch is firmly in our favor here, we're shooting everything down. We've got Spitfires and Meteors going up against hundreds and hundreds, actually thousands of Me-262s, so we have the advantage. I've got a thick Soviet fleet that I managed to borrow, along with some of my own designs, the Graf Spee here. This is my preferred ship killer, and we'll be ready to kick down the door any day now. Launch the naval invasion. Godspeed, you magnificent bastards. All right, Marines are doing it as expected. I specifically designed them for this, so no real wonder they are getting in there without too many difficulties. They're under one of my most elite generals as well, and they will push north aggressively, and we'll get the armor in as well. I doubt I actually need the armor to get this because the UK is just that spent, but always good to be cautious. So let's get across, start killing. Yeah, Marines are just overrunning them. Yeah, it's all Jover now. 5.5 million casualties, and I am also at the end of my manpower pool, so none too soon that we can end this. None too soon. Like I said, I am not going for America, not because it's such a massive challenge and way too difficult. It's just incredibly not fun going across the Atlantic and having to fight, well, all of those people and all of these people. All we need to capitulate now is the USA, which is a giant pain in the ass. But I'd say we've beaten Battle for Seelow Heights with all the negative modifiers, because I can't get rid of this one. I'm still being bombed by the Allies. It says it should be gone, and it's not, but I did not let that stop me. November 1950, 5.5 years after I took command, Germany stands triumphant on the European continent. All we have to do is mop up Greece, mop up Turkey. Well, you have a lot of mopping up to do, but I am dominant at sea, in the air, and on land. I just don't want to play anymore because I'm out of men, and most importantly, I am out of brain power. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I heartily recommend you check this mod out. It is so good. It needs some cleaning up, but it's so good. I hope you guys enjoy the next video as well. See ya.